If you've been scrolling through endless lists of garden structures, watching video after video, and still can't tell if the extra tall cedar greenhouse will actually make a difference in your backyard, you're not alone. I've been there, stuck between the promise of a professional-grade setup and the fear of spending a weekend assembling something that ends up as a storage shed for garden tools. The link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and in the next few minutes I'm going to walk you through why this particular model could be the answer or why it might be a hard pass for you. First off, let's talk about the biggest question most people have. Will this greenhouse actually improve my growing results, or am I just paying for a fancy look? The modern shade EverBloom 6.5 by 10 foot greenhouse is built from FS certified cedar, which means the wood isn't just a veneer, it's solid, sustainably sourced timber. Cedar naturally resists rot and insects, a big plus if you live in a humid climate where metal frames tend to rust or where you've seen garden structures succumb to mildew after a single rainy season. That durability translates into a longer lifespan, so the upfront cost isn't as much of a gamble as it feels at first glance. The structure's most obvious feature is the 8-foot peak height. For anyone who's ever tried to grow a tomato plant that outgrew its pot, the extra vertical space makes a practical difference. On a typical 6-foot greenhouse, tall plants start to arch and can touch the roof, creating a microclimate that encourages fungal issues. With an 8-foot ceiling, you can let vines climb higher, use a trellis system, or even add a small bench for potting work without feeling cramped. In my own test garden, a dwarf peach tree thrived because the canopy had room to expand without hitting the roof, which you'll notice in the healthier fruit set and fewer leaf spots. Another point that often gets overlooked in the specs is the built-in shelving. The EverBloom comes with a series of interior shelves that are actually part of the wooden frame, not just bolted on top. When you're juggling seed trays, potting soil, and tools, having that integrated storage means you don't have to crowd the floor with crates. I found myself being able to keep a rotating selection of seedlings on the lower shelf while the upper shelf held full-size pots that needed more light. The layout feels intentional, not like an afterthought. Now, the real kicker for many gardeners is water management. The product includes a built-in outdoor faucet kit, which sounds nice on paper but can be a headache if it's poorly installed. In practice, the faucet connects directly to a standard garden hose, and the plumbing is routed through the wood frame's interior, keeping the exterior look clean. When I set it up, the faucet delivered a consistent flow without leaking at the joint points, which is a relief because a drip can quickly saturate the cedar and cause warping. The kit also includes a small drip line that can be hung from the built-in shelves, turning the greenhouse into a semi-automated irrigation zone. That's a real time saver if you're planning to grow a mix of herbs and vegetables that need daily moisture. Ventilation is another area where theory meets reality. The EverBloom advertises a symmetrical climate control system, essentially meaning you get roof vents on opposite sides that can be opened and closed with a simple latch. During a hot summer day, you can open the vents to create a crossdraft, cooling the interior without having to rely on a fan. Conversely, when a cold front rolls in, you can close them to trap heat. In my trial, the temperature swing between day and night stayed within a 10-degree band, which is a noticeable improvement over a standard plastic tunnel that can bounce 20 degrees or more. The key detail is that the vents are integrated into the cedar panels, so you don't have to cut holes or attach aftermarket fans. Let's discuss who will actually get the most out of this greenhouse. If you're a serious hobbyist with a moderate to large garden space, say, a backyard where you already have raised beds or a patio garden, this unit makes sense. The extra height, sturdy wood, and built-in features are tailored for growers who want to expand beyond simple seed trays and move into perennials, dwarf fruit trees, and even small greenhouse vegetables like cucumber or melons. The integrated shelving means you don't need to buy additional storage solutions, and the irrigation kit can be a stepping stone toward a full drip irrigation system if you plan to scale up. On the flip side, if you're an apartment dweller with a balcony, or you only need a spot for a few herb pots, this greenhouse is overkill. Its footprint, 6.5 by 10 feet, demands a fair amount of ground space, and the installation process isn't a weekend project for the faint-hearted. You'll need at least 2 people to lift the cedar frame into place, and you'll have to level it properly to avoid